All right, we're ready. We're recording. All right, welcome all to the Speakeasy podcast. We are back with another episode, another Wednesday, another podcast. I am Daryl.
I'm Phil.
Who are you, cuz?
I'm Michelle.
And we got 2 days. We got 2 days before Christmas. Let's get it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a very it's 2 days before the most wonderful time of the year.
Supposedly.
Supposedly. You guys have any plans for Christmas this year?
Yeah. I'm just gonna be with my dad.
Yeah. I mean, you can't really invite other people, no?
No.
What you sorry, you have parties?
No.
Oh, sorry, you're lagging, bro. You're lagging. You're sorry, lagging, bro. Yo, this is a bad start.
He's on another plane of existence.
Yeah, this is 2020, to be honest. So, yeah, I'm not really fucking surprised they went to shit. Yo, be sorry, log off and then log back on. He frozen, dog. He frozen.
He's out of it.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry, dude. I connected to my phone now, so it doesn't lag like that. I've been having issues.
Yeah, all right.
That's good.
So yeah, you have any plans? You have any plans for Christmas? I'm sorry.
No, just spending time with the family and stuff. Just doing my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't do much. All right, so today's topic.
Not much to do, man, because of like restrictions.
Right.
Yeah, I know. Yo, did you hear about Plant's great idea of having a skating rink?
Yes, I wanted to talk about that. Thank you.
This is exactly the bullshit that we've been talking like the last podcast. This is the bullshit that happened.
So what are your thoughts? Is it a good idea?
So I feel like there's a clear disconnect between her worldview and the existence of people who are unfortunate.
Yeah, no, she wanted to do it for the homeless people. So basically, to put context, our great mayor wanted to create a skating rink where everyone could participate in it, which completely defeats the purpose of 2 meters apart in self-isolation. And so her great idea was to do this for homeless people, because fuck homes, yeah. This is a skating rink.
Yeah, it was to replace an area that was reserved for homeless people sheltering.
Swear to God, they could have put the money into something more useful.
That's what I'm saying.
They could have kept the homeless shelter.
That was one of the topics that I was talking about with Phil previously. How we can't control what the government does with our money. So we're paying taxes, and like we're paying we're we have our annual incomes and all that stuff that there's half of it that fucks off to the government. We don't get to choose what we do with it. And so they could legit spend it on a fucking bridge when like they could spend it on a hospital or medical centers or the road, for example.
Like something like useful infrastructure.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like
bridges and stuff, fixing the highway that keeps falling apart, man. I feel like I'm riding a roller coaster every time I take the Highway 40, man. Why don't they spend a little bit more money on that? Yeah, exactly.
But anyways, today's topic is gonna be about love. What is love? No more. All right, so for just curious question to start off light, and then we can just like dive in deep. I was thinking because like a lot of channels talk about it in a very sort of superficial way, and like what do girls like, what do you guys like. I'm more interested in diving into the psyche of what you guys think as like is dating nowadays a lot more different. Well, obviously it's a lot more different, but how does the difference between dating now versus dating say back I guess 10 years ago factor into the way you like sort of meet people, or how sort of marriage nowadays has a lesser significance than say 20 years ago. So yeah, my first question is what is your worst dating experience? If you have one.
I'm gonna let Phil go first on that one.
Okay.
We don't have to
Until
name.
I
Don't name names. Just experiences. You don't have to.
Sure.
Because it takes
So-
time going so far back in my
Yeah,
memory. So
we
I'm
don't
gonna
have
let
Yeah, I
Phil
go
go
far
first.
back as well.
We
But
don't have to start diss tracks on 2021.
yeah, no need. But yeah, when I was, I don't know, 10 or 11 or something, I was fairly young. Uh, I didn't realize it back then, but I was supposed to meet with someone who had traveled an hour to get to near my location. I was at my grandma's back then, living there, and yeah, I overslept, and I didn't realize that it was, well, I don't know. Looking back on it now, it was likely a date, but
Savage mode, bro. Yo, I fell asleep, bro. I can't.
I I don't know. I woke up an hour later. I was like, oh no.
Oh my
So
god.
I ran there in a hurry. Of course, she was gone, and
Oh no.
yeah, and she was a bit angry at me, understandably.
Well, I mean, at least it's not. It's back to like you're 10 years old. It's not like
Yeah,
nowadays. It's like
yeah, I was
fucking
just a kid, but
social media will be like, oh look, this kid Phil. Yeah, don't date him
Yeah.
because he's gonna ditch your ass.
yeah,
Yo, man.
I'm not dating material.
Later.
Because
Nowadays-
they talk from like between each other. They're like,
Yeah,
actually,
girls talk a lot. Girls talk a lot. So like the worst part is like everything you do is basically
Everything I've learned, every single thing you say or do with your significant other gets told to someone.
I want to talk about that afterwards. How about you, Sarah? What's your worst date experience?
man, I tell you, bro. It was at the gym, bro. Like I was working at the time, and like a bunch of people walk by all the time. So I'm always like the dude that you see every day. So like I practically know everybody like that goes over there. So there's a bunch of few fine ones that pass by here and there, and your boy had to like slide in and get the IG, get the snap codes. You know what I'm saying?
Snap codes. Yeah, I haven't used Snapchat in so long, man.
Yeah, trying to
5 years,
get them
probably.
like snap codes and IGs and stuff. And man, and I met this one, right? And everything was like everything hit off in the beginning. She was like nice, and I know. And then the next day, like I was like talking to some like random girl too, like right after. And she was talking about her. I'm like, what the fuck? You guys know each other? She's like, yeah, yo, this girl's crazy. She talks like to like random dudes, and then when she brings it to your house, she starts like doing some weird shit, like some voodoo shit. And I hear that from like the acquaintance, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like my heart dropped. I'm like, oh my god, wow! And I was supposed to go see her next week. Yeah, man, she was about to do some ninja shit, or something like this, bro. And I hear like some horror stories, man.
Some Scientology type shit, bro. I'm gonna recruit you
Yeah,
to my cult.
some horror stories that I hear from people. That's why you gotta talk to everybody.
Yeah, I'm saying. Yeah,
I think I talk to people.
Yeah, I think the first dates usually are very like, especially whenever you meet him, like in like a normal like in a you just walk up to them. It's not like an acquaintanceship. It's sort of like you meet him like a cold, I guess you call it when you meet him like just some random person and you say hi to them and you start talking to them. Which I don't know if you guys do that. Like, is it when you guys have dates? Is it more towards like friends of a friend, or is it more towards I'm gonna walk up to this beautiful lady and talk to her?
More the former.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's friends with friends. I think it's more. It's a lot easier like that, or it's a lot more.
The introduction
natural often.
Yeah, but it's a lot better because you already you've established a mutual friend, so it's not like if you do some weird shit like it's not.
it sometimes that gives you an excuse to talk. You know what I'm saying? It's like yo.
Yeah, fucking he froze again. Hey.
Yo, from that point to just talk from there.
Yo, y'all here freezing, fam. What's going on?
Oh my god, I have no idea. You guys didn't hear like anything I said before? Hold on.
No, it's just the last sentence cut off. So yeah, want to repeat it? Repeat what you
It's
said.
like So it's the same as like saying like, oh, it's like an excuse of like talking to like a nice lady if you ever meet, you know, like,
Yeah.
oh, yo, I know your cousin, like, oh, I know your friend, you know.
Yeah.
It gives you a sort of like a base, a platform so you can begin your show, you know,
Yeah.
begin your spectacular performance to get their attention, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Although I think me and my worst dating experience was this girl that was in my class in CJEP, and her ex boyfriend is going out with someone from our school, Masara. I'll tell you after the podcast.
Oh shit, that should be
Uh,
interesting.
and the boyfriend cheated on her with this girl. And so me and this girl, we sort of we bonded, and then we went on dates, and like we went to like the forum, and we started playing pool and all that stuff, and we got close. And then like uh say that summer of, I was like, oh yo, because my parents, my mom left to go to what should we call it, to Quebec or wherever for like 2 weeks. I'm like, yo, you down to hang out? And she goes,
Yeah.
oh yo, I'm sorry, I'm not interested. I'm like, yo, the entire fucking time you're the one fucking jumping on me, yeah. Like because when a girl leads you on the whole time, and then in the end just fucking dips, and you realize, oh, she was just using you to sort of make her ex jealous. And it's like, oh fucking, like it's so
Mm.
toxic. It's such a toxic behavior. It's like, especially since when you're younger, you're in teenage years, you're sort of like you're trying to figure out the market. And so so when you're going out with these types of toxic people, you have this sort of perception that the entire market is just that. It's just a bunch of toxic people, so you lose trust, and you're like, oh, yo, girls are whack, man. All
Everything
boys are
is
whack,
trash.
bro. Yeah, everyone's
Everything is
trash.
garbage.
And then the older you get, the more mature you get, you realize it's sort of just because they're childish, and sort of they have this sort of weird, um I guess, instinctive sort of survival mode to just like, oh, I know that these guys are just gonna troll me anyway, so I'm gonna take advantage of them and then dip out. Which is another topic I want to talk about. Who pays on a first date?
Oh,
Uh,
ideally, both split it.
Split. Okay. Okay. I wish you were sorry. Are you sort of old fashioned,
I
traditional,
would
or
say I'm old traditional. I
okay?
pay for a first date because if it's like I wouldn't just like go out with anyone, you know.
Yeah.
Like it has to be like someone that I picked out of like the bunch, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like the nicest apple in the basket,
But
you
it's the
know.
thing. That's
So
because since
so
it's
if
your
it's
first
me,
date. Yeah.
yeah, of course. If it's me, I'll do it for the experience because
Okay.
for me, going out with me is an experience. That's
Yeah.
that's the way you should see it too because it is like a sort of like a show to them to show like your personality, your colors and
Yeah.
stuff. So it's sort of like you gotta like show your best self.
Yeah.
And that might include
You have
not
to,
not
well,
hesitating.
though. That's one thing I've also learned is that I know a lot of people that uh, kind of fake it on
Mm.
the date to
Mm. Yeah.
get the
Free.
person to like them,
Yeah.
and inevitably that bites them in the ass at some point.
I think my personal experience, and also because like I was raised by like women. I have
Mm.
more women in my life than there are men. So like I have their perspective, and like they're like, yeah, if the woman, like, you should you should um pay for it. I was like, as in like sort of, you should have the mindset that you're gonna pay for it. But if they don't offer to pay or offer to split, then you could tell like if their personality is worth keeping. Like, you sort of, it's sort of like a test. So and
Exactly.
so I,
Yeah.
I agree with both of you where like splitting is ideal because it is a first date, so you don't know the person. The person could be just like fetching for some free meals and shit. Pulls up at a
That's true.
5-star restaurant.
Uh,
Gold digging bitch, but
Trust me,
if the food digging
no,
bitches.
I know some people like they go to like a high end restaurants and they order the biggest fucking crap, and then in the end the guy
No,
pays
no,
$100
no,
bill.
no,
I'm like,
no.
oh, you fucking crazy.
No, the first date isn't the high end restaurant, bro. You're doing this way backwards, bro.
It's it's
The
it's,
first
it's
date,
McDonald's. It's McDonald's, bro.
nah. It's
no,
it's Krispy Kreme on Côte d'Ivoire. This is where the first spot is.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I know. Fucking Will told me
no,
about it.
no. The first date, you do something interesting. You go to you show her a interesting place, and
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those interesting places, a donut shop, my friend.
Homer Simpson type shit. If you don't like this,
Hey
fuck out of
man,
here. But
okay,
I'm
yeah,
telling you, if you
but
want a hint, bro, they like donuts. That's what I'm saying. It's the most,
I think just like
it's the
sweets in
most
general.
common thing.
I think that's
Yeah,
Switzerland
of
too.
course.
Wait, what are you
Um,
saying?
After that, you
Phil?
take them to mall. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you say, Phil?
I was gonna specify on my point that the reason why I think splitting is kind of the go-to option is because not for in case they want a free meal or
Well, that
whatever.
was all, yeah, and that's my personal experience.
It's more the idea that, you know, like it's not because you're a guy that you got to be paying.
Mm.
You know, you're both equals.
Equals,
You're trying
yeah.
to establish a partnership
Yeah.
in a way. So you want to like start on the right foot. You know,
Exactly, yeah.
like indicating that you're equals.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's why I think it's very it's a weird there's the weird double standard where
Mhm.
a lot of people want to be equals, but then when it comes to dating, it's sort of I want the guy to be chivalrous and sort of like
Right.
pay for my half, or to like to bring me to this nice restaurant, and he's the one who's taking charge and stuff. Which like
Yeah.
that's why for me, like right now, the dating scene is hella like confusing, because it's like you don't want to be offending someone by like, oh yeah, I'll deal with all this stuff. Like, what, you think I'm not good enough to like, I'm not independent enough to fucking deal with this shit on my own? And then, but at the same time, it's like, oh, this guy's not chivalrous. He's a fucking asshole. So it's
Right.
like,
but the date ends really quickly. If I noticed that, you know that, right? It's like I wouldn't continue. The thing is, here's the thing: before you go out with whomever, you have to be sure that you guys are on the same page, right? Because if you don't, this is the kind of situation that would happen when you go out with them. That's the thing that you have to like know this prior. You have to like know that they're chill prior,
yeah,
because you can't go out assuming that you guys are like wavy on the same like wavelength. No,
Mm.
you can't assume that. That's why these situations happen. You have to know that she's chill from before.
well, that's the thing.
And then,
That's why I was like, the context of today is because most people do dates through online dating apps. And so you don't know the
yeah,
person beforehand, right? So you just meet this
yeah,
person, and so you're like, oh, hi, I'll pay for half. Like my sort of I guess philosophy on this is more sort of like, if the date's going well, and you want to have and you want to keep going, you feel like you have a connection, then yeah,
mhm,
then pay for it. But also like, see if she's gonna willing to offer to sort of like, oh,
of course.
let's split. It's sort of the mentality. It's not the action itself. It's more the mentalities. I want to see like, oh, I want to see what this person like values. Does she
But
value this?
every step of the process is like a test. Like you're
Yeah,
testing the person. Like you test it like, oh, you don't want them to be this and this. You don't want them to be like the greedy type,
and
the
also because
ones that
a lot of guys
yeah.
have this sort of perception where after like if they do something chivalrous, they're expected to have intercourse in the end, or to
That's
have
terrible too.
and to
Yeah.
have a kiss. It,
That's really bad.
well, I'm saying when you're a kid, you're a kid, right? You have this sort of perception where you're like,
Wanted to
oh,
smash on the first night.
yeah,
Didn't
smash on
you?
the first night, and then you realize like when if you smash on the first night, the girl's most likely just gonna dip out like in like 2 years time. Like it's
Oh,
not a
you
long
wouldn't
term.
care, would you? You just want to smash
I'm
on
saying,
the first
well,
night.
that's why I learned. That's what I've learned. Like very like over the years is I value long term stability over a short term sort of like pleasure, because it's like cheap thrills are nice and all, but after like you always have a rush, and eventually after you get 50 years old and you have this habit, it's not gonna go as well as it's going right now, right? So having a long term stability, having like this sort of like, I value family, like and having kids and stuff. So I'm like, I'm not out here fucking sleeping every 30 seconds and shit. And also I can't be bothered with people, so I'll fucking lose my mind anyways. So yeah, it's
How do you guys view non-committed relationships? You know, like
like
open relationships.
Amazing.
like, oh, polygamous or polyamorous.
I guess, yeah.
Wait.
Both.
Like meaning like there's like multiple people in a relationship.
Are you talking about like
Um,
you loving them or just sleeping with them? Because it's different, isn't it?
sleeping. Like,
Also polygamous then, yeah.
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 I don't really like, for me
I mean,
it's not serious for me. It's not like, it's like I feel like person's like afraid of
uh,
commitment, or just has this sort of he wants to, or he or she wants everything, and it's not like, I don't know, it's not concrete what they have,
I feel like it's a waste of time. Just to sum up what Daryl wants to say this whole time, like it's just a waste of time because there's like no goal, no point to it.
Yeah.
It's just like meaningless actions repeated over and over again for a short period of time, and then you guys call it a quote unquote relationship.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a waste of time. I agree with Daryl. It's just the thing is there's a difference between you just not giving a fuck and going out there and just smashing like
Yeah.
as a sport. That's something else. But like
Yeah.
if you're like lost in your thoughts and you're wondering, oh, what should I have right now in my phase of life, then it's a totally different story. Like if you just want to go out and just like have fun, then go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. You know? But if you want to go out to look for something, then I don't think polyamorous relationship is the way to go.
I think because there's also polyamory, right? So you have like
Right.
multiple partners in a relationship, but you equally love them,
Mhm.
which I think can work, but there's also many complications because the more people are in the relationship, there's more factors that get involved. So each person has
Yeah.
to fulfill their pleasure. And so I had this fantasy where I was like, oh, it's me and like two bisexual girls, right? To make sense. So it's triangle. So it's I even had this sorted out how when we have kids and shit. I already thought about all this shit. It's like, and every single Christmas or whatever, you have a threesome or whatever. But I think longevity wise, it's sort of very it's a lot more complicated because eventually each person is gonna sort of want to venture out. And so like it is already hard enough to have, it's like the concept of having multiple friends. If you have 100 friends, you don't know who you trust, but we have like 10 friends, you know who you're trusting because you've sort of have a foundation. It's not like, oh yeah, come here, let's form a group project. But yeah,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on it?
Me?
Yeah.
I think different strokes for different folks. Like
Would you try it?
uh, don't think so. I think I'm fairly monogamous,
Yeah.
but I don't
If it
know.
was 2 girls, I'd be down.
That's what we all say.
Wait, isn't it like in Muslim culture you could have 4 wives?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. You got 4 wives.
Yeah,
It's already
but the thing is, all have to agree to be with each other.
okay. Yeah.
That's the misconception, bro. It's not that you choose. It's not up to you
Yeah,
only,
it's
bro.
them.
It's
Yeah.
up to the other four to like get along.
Yeah.
Unless you want to live in a war zone inside your own house.
Makes sense. Well, what do you think about the the sort of mentality of sort of worshiping a significant other? So like girls worshiping guys and like all these guys are like, my boyfriend is he'll do everything for me, or my girlfriend is just goddess that I gotta
In
simp out for.
in almost every situation, worship is fetish,
Yeah,
fetishization, which is dangerous.
Yeah, I think
Is
so
my
too.
take. It's dehumanizing in a way because you're then projecting upon them standards which are
Yeah.
impossible,
Yeah.
and they will definitely not meet them,
Yeah.
and it'll like crush you as well.
Yeah.
So it's destructive both ways.
Yeah. I think also having this sort of fetishizing like your significant other is sort of very sort of like it's a lot of stress for each partner because like
Yeah,
ultimately you have to like as like that's what I was saying before where I have to meet people's expectations and sort of it's if you don't meet them they get disappointed and they ultimately sort of leave or they sort of just dislike you now, which that's why I think because you know how there's phases to dating. There's the honeymoon phase, which is the one that lasts to what 2 to 5 years, which is sort of where you're infatuated with the person but you're not necessarily in love with them. And so
yeah,
that's why a lot of like relationships sort of break down after 2 to 5 years. And then after
yeah,
that there's the revelation phase where everyone fucking sees who for each other for who they really are, and it's like, ew, what,
yeah.
you're
That happens.
nasty.
Yeah. But it's not always like that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like I see it as phases, bro. It's all about phases. You have a phase in your life that you don't want nothing to do with nobody, right?
Yeah.
And you got a phase in your life where like you're sort of like looking, but you're not really looking.
Yeah.
You're just like having fun. And then there's the third phase is that you're actually looking for something that's significant.
Mm.
And you shouldn't force the process to go any faster or quicker
Yeah. Yeah.
than it's going. You know what I'm saying? Like as you say, like the 2 to 5 years,
Yeah.
the honeymoon phase, you have to like go through it like
Yeah.
year by year, slowly and surely, so you know that the steps that you're taking are not like void steps. You're not gonna
Yeah.
go through a hole and it's all for nothing. You know, I feel like I agree with there on that one.
I think also emotional maturity would actually help because work. That's why I think being single early on, people say, "Oh, because you ain't getting none." Nah, motherfucker. 'Cause I know about it. When you have like time for yourself and you figure out what you want and what you like, it sort of helps later on because ultimately you know what works and what doesn't, so you don't have to go through the tedious trial and error phases of like, oh, I'm gonna try this out. Oh, I'm gonna go out this and then get heartbroken left and right, left and right. So like I
Yeah,
think early on getting like sort of your shit together and like realizing what values do you really value and what you
yeah,
really want in
take
a person.
your time. You know, take your
Yeah,
time.
finding yourself is ultimately
Finding yourself before you
The
find
most
someone
the
else.
most
yeah.
importantly, yeah.
As a cliche is like, oh, you have to love yourself before you love others. Yeah,
Yeah,
well, it
that's
makes sense.
true.
It makes sense because a lot of people have this sort of like perception that, oh, if I find my significant other, I'll be whole. It's like, no,
Yeah, that's dangerous for
that's
the other
As,
person.
yeah,
Then you're like
yo, as
codependent.
soon as you hear that, you have to like tell the person like, yo, are you okay? Are you do you feel okay?
are you
Like
good,
that's
cuz? Are you good?
exactly like as soon as you hear that, you know that they're not okay from the
You gotta check
inside.
up on them.
Straight
Yeah,
up, yeah.
I think nowadays a lot of because especially with social media, you have this sort of perception of what a relationship should be and what it's like. This, oh, it's all perfect, it's all fun and games, and then you have this.
No,
What
it's those people. It's those people that are like, oh, like I need to find my other side of my coin. You know?
Yeah,
Nah, bro, you're the coin.
I think that has
The
something to
two
do
sides
with
are you, bro.
societal pressure
yeah.
on getting in a relationship.
Mm.
That's true.
What
That's
do you think
very
about
true.
that?
But the thing is, I think because women have a time period to get kids, they have well before 40, they have to get if they want a family, they have to mate because or else menopause hits and they're left with like minimal options. Like I guess adoption could work, but
But that's a view on love where the sole purpose of love is making children. Well, some people
yeah,
don't have to focus on that, right?
they want to have a relationship for the actual relationship, the
The
bond.
relationship,
Yeah.
not the what comes with it.
But a lot of people have this sort
Yeah.
of pressure as well because like later on they have this, especially
Right.
parents, they have they want to grab kids and whatnot, and they have like, oh, why don't you have a boyfriend yet, or why don't you have a girlfriend yet?
Right.
'Cause they want to have they want to see their grandkids before they die, obviously, and uh,
Yeah.
and you have this sort of you feel this duty of like, I need to. I want my mom or dad to see my kids before they pass away, or do you want I want to accomplish this as soon as I can so I could like move on to other things, and ultimately it sort of forces. I agree this sort of like this pressure is not healthy at all
Hmm.
because you basically bulldoze through all the processes and you instead of thinking about stuff you're just like, oh, I'm gonna steamroll this through and then whatever happens in the end.
I just need to get it done, you know? I
Yeah,
just need to get in that relationship no
Like
matter
yeah,
it's a task, you know. When it
yeah,
becomes like more of a task, you just lose all like meaning to it, you know.
yeah,
it
Like,
loses
and
all
it
the
depends.
passion relating to,
mm,
learning.
Ex- Exactly. Like you just look at it like, why did I get myself into this at
yeah.
some point? And this is like very like dangerous, you know.
That's why like right now like my biggest flaw is I'm impatient, and because of what I don't know, I'm horribly bad. Like that's why I can't like I could deal with people, but I have like you could tell I'm two-faced as fuck when
Like
I'm
it's
dealing with
the
when
patience is very short, man.
yo dude, like when legit when if someone like says something stupid, like I lose interest. Let's just
You don't hide it, man. You literally said, bro, it's
Nah,
so
yo, I'm a I'm
stupid.
a I'm a Virgo. You see my face, like I don't hide my emotions. It's funny because a lot of people who really know me, whenever I'm talking to people that I can't be bothered with, they know they can tell because they see
Yeah.
like how I react, and it's like, oh, like
Facial
he's
expressions.
fucking
Yeah.
faking, bro. It's like the only time I actually fake like stuff is whenever I'm in public and I don't want to, seem rude or whatever, because the person hasn't done anything to me yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I guarantee you, the
Not
moment,
yet.
the moment the person insults me or something stupid, bro, the facade drops and everything.
Everything comes out.
Which brings me into another question. What is your turn ons and your turn offs of a person? It doesn't have to be physical. It could be
Yeah.
personality wise. Could be mentality. What they want for your future, like kids or whatever, marriage.
I think like the biggest turnoff for me is like clueless chicks.
Yeah. Oh
It,
yeah.
it, it's those ones. You know what I'm saying? Like those that like know nothing. They don't know anything about anything. They're like a floating cloud with legs in their brains. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
they
yeah,
got
yeah.
nothing going on. You know what I'm saying? Like they got no drive, no objective,
Yeah,
no
people have
points. You know,
yeah,
like not they got nothing going on. Bro. Like there's nothing I could work with. Just
I
end it there. You know?
the background characters is what I call
Yeah, yeah.
them.
It's like you read it and it's blank. Like
Extras.
you read the background of the character, it's just blank.
It's the
What the
extras of the
fuck?
Matrix.
I'm
A big turn
odd
on
bitches.
is someone who's excited to learn things.
I turn on.
Yeah,
Okay.
someone who's excited to learn things is
Yeah, that is.
intensely attractive to me.
Yeah,
Someone who wants to just like who doesn't know much about something but wants to like
learn. Yeah,
give a try to things and just explore horizons.
open minded.
Yeah,
Yeah, I,
that's very
that is.
attractive to me.
I think also for me, someone who's emotionally intelligent that understands like
Mhm.
when to push your when not to push your buttons. You know what I'm saying? Like when
Mhm.
you have gone through a hard day, you understand like okay, you know he's stressed out. He's
Being supportive
yeah, and
instead of
understands.
a competition mindset versus a supportive
Yeah,
mindset.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's of
You
like
know,
yeah, definitely.
I know Daryl likes to act tough, but all he wants is to get cuddled this year.
all I want for Christmas is you.
I know, I know, I know. Under all that tough looks, but I know all you want is to get cuddled one day. Is that what
Hey
you
yo,
want?
cuddles fam is what we
Oh,
live for.
underrated.
It's
Yeah,
underrated.
That's it,
To be
bro.
honest, yeah, to be honest, yo, pillow talk is underrated as fuck.
yeah.
I
It's
have a lot of
it's underrated. Like,
I have a
fuck,
lot
you
of
know? It
debates.
solves all the problems.
Fam, we have a lot of
It
debates.
solves
A lot
exactly.
of
Listen,
debates.
like every single problem and debate you should be solved by pillow talk.
To be honest, I find that someone who's a lot more, like sort of playful, like knows how to flirt and sort of knows how to like,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
doesn't take things too seriously, especially like when it comes to
Funny
like some,
one
yeah, like people who are like don't like,
with
oh,
with a good
you're
sense of
against this,
humor.
you're
Yeah.
against that, you're against this.
Oh,
It's
that's
like, bro, oh,
amazing.
bro,
Yeah.
like like someone you could just like, yo, you want to do something? And it's like, yeah, let's do it. It doesn't judge what you're doing.
Mm.
So say like you could play mini golf on a first date and be like, oh my god, he talked
Like
about.
down to earth
I
people.
guess
You know
Yeah,
what
that's
I'm saying?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Grab
I
that.
open-mindedness as well.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah,
That's very,
as well. Yeah.
I think that's for everyone to be honest to have a it's not, it isn't subject to like what guys think to, but I think girls also want a dude that's not like uptight and just like, no, do this way, do this that way, and like
Mm.
controlling
yeah.
basically is not, as what I'm saying is like it's not a good thing.
Yeah,
We're
it's
trying to escape, not to go back in a cage where like
Yeah,
everything is controlled. You know, you want like a down to earth person.
yeah, relationships are, yeah, I think it's a place where you could have a sort of a breathing,
Freedom.
a
yeah,
free,
it's a safe haven.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like I was which sort of like it's sad because a lot of people's relationships are quite toxic without them realizing it. And
Nuclear lithium toxin.
no, but
Like
the thing
I've
is like
seen the bullshit.
you know when you're friends with someone, right? Because you're really close
Yeah.
friends with someone. I don't know, that's maybe just me, but when I'm close to someone, like I really want to help them genuinely if I'm friends with them because I value them as friends. So for me, like whenever I see someone who's in a toxic relationship and I want to like sort of tell them that it's hard to say so like, oh, you dude, the person you're with is not it doesn't have your best interest at heart, but they're in this little bubble, right? So like you bursting their bubble ultimately sort of um makes you look like the enemy.
Mm.
So
The
that's
risk.
why it's a very big risk. And also
So
if the person knows how to like manipulate the guy, ultimately she could or he could completely like
so how do you
dissociate.
feel about that? About interfering in other people's relationships?
Yeah,
What's your
Yeah, like I don't really mess with that. You know, like whatever you're doing is you do you. You know,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
I don't because the less interference, the better it is for both parties.
yeah.
Because if you interfere and you get into that mess, you might be entangled in that mess.
yeah.
And
I
trust
think,
me, you wish you never got into that entanglement.
yeah.
If you know what
Well,
I mean.
yeah, I think it's like everyone should learn their mistakes and like figure it out for themselves.
Yeah.
And then
Like people are smart enough, bro.
well,
I
the thing
feel
is,
that
it's
way.
I think it's because when you're infatuated with someone, you're sort of like lost in like their trans, right? So it's not like even if you're really smart, you have this sort of like we were talking about earlier the idea of perception. It's like sort of like very powerful in the early stages of dating, and so like
You convince yourself that it's okay, but it's really not.
yeah, and then
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. Like like let them like deal with it, and then in hindsight you can like laugh about it.
yeah.
So yo, I
I
can't
just,
believe I went
I
out.
just like, I just like to watch the fire with with a bit of popcorn in my hand, bro.
Yeah, I'm saying
Like I love. I don't know why, bro, but I love doing that shit. I
it's a
love
drama
just
show. It's a
kicking
live
back and
drama show.
watching the show. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, life is a movie. You know,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have to
life is a
enjoy it.
movie. That's how I see it. So might as well enjoy it with a bit of popcorn
Yeah,
and snacks.
yeah, that's why I live free. Yeah, I've like it's better to live with the a sort of like freedom, like sort of just like chilling. Like don't take life too seriously because ultimately, yes, you have one life, but at the same time, you want to enjoy that one life. You don't want to like
Exactly.
you don't want to like overthink everything, which
Living
is
life to the fullest.
yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, so in the early stages when we all hit puberty, I'm pretty sure we all had crushes. I know I had a lot in high school. I had 18, I think, in high school.
Big
I
fat booty bitches
I I
all
had,
the
I had
way, bro.
five. I had five. I think I had five every year. I had five every
Five
year.
crushes, bro.
Every year. Yo, puberty hit me hard, bro.
Dude, you would fall for every single chick that would just look at you.
No, not even, not even. It's the girls that didn't look at me that I was interested in. Like
It's
the girls
always
that look,
like that.
yeah, because you're never appreciative of what you have. Like I had a lot of girlfriends back in high school, but I didn't care for them. It was more the people I
Yeah,
didn't
you
know.
gave no fuck, bro.
So
You
yeah,
gave
it's
no
like
fuck.
so yeah, so like a lot of so what was your sort of like what when was your sort of your realization time of like, oh shit, why am I crushing over these people? Like I don't really know them. I don't like this. When ultimately what I'm asking is when did your facade over women sort of broke and you realized?
Oh, um,
Is it what age you're asking?
Yeah,
Like
what
the
age and like
month?
how did
Okay.
it happen? Sort of how to if you remember it.
Okay.
by the end of high school, I guess,
Mhm.
just over realizing that like those little crushes and the like the mental space I gave them were maybe not uh
Worth it.
proportionate
Um,
to like what was happening materially, you know? Like I was infatuated
yeah,
and I just told myself, wait, I'd have to like learn more. I'd have to like
understand.
grow myself first, and I'd have to like
Yeah,
go through my own
journey.
growth
Yeah.
to to be able to not only like approach this feeling of love, this vague feeling of love a bit better,
Mhm.
but also like know how to love better.
Yeah. What is love? How about you, Bizarro?
Um,
Oh, after she hurt you, that's what you did. You know what? Yo,
man,
fuck these motherfuckers.
I realized that very late. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I was one of those like I was one
Late
of those
bloomers.
type of dudes.
Late
Exactly.
bloomers. Yeah.
I realized I realized how like tedious and how tricky the game was. You know,
Mm.
it was towards like 19 years old where I knew that people like to take advantage of others like a
Yeah.
lot more than you thought it was. You
Mm.
know, I thought that people were genuine. That's my first mistake when I was like
Yeah,
before the
you are
early ages of
very
19.
naive. You are
I know,
very naive.
I know.
Holy shit.
It lasted a long time, bro.
Yo, in
And
high
Daryl
school,
knows a
he was
lot
being
about it. Yeah,
played. In high school, he was being fucking played. It was fucking. It was.
I
It was.
know.
It was painful to watch.
Like dudes, like I know something was wrong because I noticed that dudes that looked like feet were able to like manage up with like nice girls for prom. Like dude, the guy looks like a fucking toe, bro, and
I know
he still
exactly what you're
managed to
talking
like
about. I know
exact
exactly.
like the dude looks like a full grown toe, bro, and like the guy and the guy still managed to like walk with like the finest bitches, bro. That's the
Oh
problem, man.
my god, that's
And
funny.
I knew it was all about character and personality, which I had none of it in the
Uh,
early days.
yeah, you were a
That's
simp.
why
You're a
like
pretty simp. You're a simp.
yeah, I was. That was a pretty big one too. But that ended at 19 when I realized that you gotta put yourself first and stuff. So
Mm. And sort of
I
yeah, you build
I
yourself up first.
realized it late, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I think the mine was sort of around C-ship as well. It was like 17, 18 when I was like sort of going through the motions. I think that's when I hit depression. Funny enough, and I quit social media for I think 1 or 2 years.
Yeah.
I sort of like it's when I sort of looked back in high school and I was like, why did I care about these people? Like, I was realizing like if they don't care about me, so why do I spend time caring about them? You know what I'm saying? It's not reciprocal. So
Mhm.
like, why waste energy? So then I was like, okay, what would happen if I stopped caring about these people? And then I was like, oh shit, I have more time to care about people that care about me. I was like, oh shit. And then I started going through the journeys and figuring stuff out, and I was like, oh shit, you know what? I don't need these people. I'm
It's
good
like
on my own.
you realize even if they're gone, that you're fine.
Yeah,
Like it did like nothing happened when they
yeah,
left. So
yeah,
that's the point of realization. We're like, oh, okay, like they weren't really that important.
yeah. I think
So
it's. I know it's a very very scary sort of process to go through because a lot of people
yeah,
it's you have to be really brave to go through a journey of self discovery because you have to ultimately ask the questions that you are scared of answering. So it's like, who are you? That's probably the biggest question. Like, what do you matter? Why do you matter in this world? What do you have to contribute to this world? And so ultimately, like a lot of questions that you have to ask yourselves, basically revolves on self reflection, which
hmm
a lot of people like to blame others or blame society because of their misfortunes. But then when you look at yourself, it's like, well, I'm depressed because of me. It's not society doing
yeah.
shit. You know what I'm
Like
saying?
I didn't do enough to move myself out of this situation. Like I didn't like do enough to get myself out of this like
Yeah.
bad spot. You know, you
Yeah.
have to like put in the effort to make yourself better. You know,
Yeah. I think also
of
realizing
course,
that everyone goes through hardships as well.
of
It's like,
course, of course, everybody does. Yeah.
because you have this sort of that's how social media sort of like made it bad for me because everyone posting all the good stuff, them going traveling, going with
All the
with
happy
girlfriends and
shit.
boyfriends and happy shit, and then
Yeah,
you're like at home fucking depressed and shit. You're like, what the fuck? Why am I doing this? And then you
I've been
realize,
there. Yeah.
when you meet them in person, they're actually hella depressed too. I was like, oh shit, what the fuck?
Social media is a makeup cover, bro, for a lot of people's lives. I'm
Yeah,
telling you, it's not real life. Sometimes you can have 30 million followers on Instagram and your life is miserable.
yeah. I think
Yeah,
that's like this.
you see people, bro, like they got like mansions, they got cars, they got money,
Yeah,
bro.
but they're
And
lonely.
every week, next thing you know, you're getting challenged by Mayweather and you're gonna get boxed the fuck out of you. Bro. You saw that Jake Paul shit, bro? This
Yeah,
dude
I
is
know.
insane, bro. This guy's calling out the best boxer in life. Hey, I'm glad to be me. I'm glad I'm not him, bro. Because this guy's about to step in with one of like the greatest fighters of all time, bro. I'm
Yeah,
glad I'm me.
yeah, I know, but that's yeah. Oh,
You gotta love yourself, bro. That's the most important part in all this. Like, if anything I've learned through all these years, bro, is that the most important thing is to love yourself.
love
Because
yourself.
if you don't, bro, you'll always make the most like negative and horrible decisions for
Mhm.
you. You know, like you have to plan this shit out for you, your future, bro. Like
Yeah,
it doesn't rely on anybody. Doesn't matter, bro.
real shit.
You're the best, and you're the most 100%. Like nobody can be you better than you. You know,
That's
Yeah,
like
that's a
rep
hundred
rep
percent
rep
true.
rep it up, bro. That's it, bro.
yeah.
Doesn't matter nobody, bro.
Which brings me to
Yeah.
the question: what do you guys think when you're alone? What is the weirdest thing? What is the weirdest thing you guys do or think about when you're alone? I think about the
What's
most
the weirdest
randomest
thought?
fucking shit. Yeah, weirdest thought. Like I think about the most weirdest shit. Like fucking giraffe. What a reason why giraffes have long ass necks. That's like the thing. I even can think about that shit, bro. There's like Animal Planet up in my fucking hair. Yeah, I'm like, yo, whales are big because they have a very very big place to chillax on. It's the fucking oceans. They're massive. And I was like, oh, interesting. It's very weird.
Yo,
Um.
the weirdest thing is like I always like imagine how Earth is like a grain of sand
Compared to the
in the
universe.
desert
Yeah.
in the universe. Like
Yeah.
I just imagine like how small this world actually is
Yeah.
and how smaller I am
Yeah.
compared to this world. And I was just like, God damn, bro, what the fuck?
I'm nothing.
Exactly.
How'd
Uh.
you feel?
I
Oh
tend to
shit.
think of like philosophy. Like I
Yeah.
to think about like some philosophers and like try to apply that to my own life and see what feels more true
Mm.
and why. and like try to introspect and try to understand my own mental framework.
Mm.
And if there's any mental framework that I don't understand, someone that I've met or something like that,
Yeah,
I
you try to
guess I try to see like, is there something I'm missing?
mm,
Probably is, and then I try to
figure it out.
analyze it through a kind of hypothesis, scientific method type of thing,
Mm.
or like through a
Yeah,
lens of like
yeah, interesting.
philosophy.
Yeah, I think I do that too when it comes to like people when I'm watching something online. Usually, I watch like I go from like various stuff. I watch like sometimes I watch debates on the different stuff, and I ultimately because you're already swayed into one side, right? You're
Yeah,
already automatically biased, right? And then I often ask myself why I feel this way, and like why am I leaning towards this guy, or why am I leaning towards this girl's opinion? And it's like, okay, and I challenge those opinions, right, and create hypotheticals of whatever it may be. So like saving the planet, for example, you know, is it an imminent threat?
Yeah.
Is another question I was gonna ask, but I think I'm gonna say that for later on because it's gonna sway. But I was like, if we all leave when we all die, do you think like the planet's gonna sort of return back to normal or sort of rehabilitate itself? And I was often thinking about it. I was like, ultimately, was it 65 million years ago when the planet was basically destroyed by meteorites supposedly, and all the dinosaurs died. We're still here. The planet is still here regardless of all the impacts and all that stuff. So I was thinking like, oh, ultimately when human life like fucks off, I don't think that the earth will sort of die. In fact, it'll thrive because the negative influence of our social habits, I guess, our fucking organizations of
It's human.
toxic waste and all that shit sort of cease to
Human.
happen. And then it sort of it rehabilitates itself and creates new life and whatnot. So it's kind of like, yeah, my thought process is very like weird. It goes for
Yo, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking of what happens beyond humans, like after like
yeah,
humans are gone, like what happens
yeah,
to the planet.
yeah.
Here's what it is: buildings covered in green.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you watch Chernobyl, for example,
Exactly. Yeah, so
after yeah,
those like cats with two legs, bro, that just run around, bro. That's fucked up, bro.
sure,
In
fucking quite.
Chernobyl.
To be honest, like that's how I was like sort of I was really like I really like this sort of like the mentality of seeing what happens in the future because
Yeah,
it's sort of like I'm creating a utopia where the us we're not fucking shit up.
yeah. Like sort of like the Walking Dead scenario. Like what?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the world after humans. Like what's gonna happen after that?
Yeah, it's
That's crazy. Like there's a bunch of like games that are like really like cool and they're based on that
yeah, post-apocalyptic.
reality.
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
post-apocalyptic, utopian, and dystopian.
Mm.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
I feel like those like video game creators like gave us a better like sort of vision of what's
What's a
gonna happen in the
hypothetical?
future.
Hypothetical vision.
Yeah, like I feel like they helped us like imagine it in our
Yeah.
minds, like in real pictures
Yeah.
of what it's like.
Yeah. I think it's I guess a hope that we're trying to achieve. I guess.
Exactly. Like you can survive running around with a shotgun, bro.
yeah. I think all fiction has this point where it thrives for the utopian future of mankind. Like it all points to, it teaches you lessons to try and better humanity.
Yeah.
And often it feels like the end goal of that is creating a utopia or
Mm.
creating a bright future for humanity,
Mm.
despite the odds being against it.
Yeah. Do you think? Well, speaking of society, do you guys think you guys agree that there is like there are alpha, betas, omegas, sigmas,
No,
or do you think that it's like it's a
it is made up.
well, it is made up. Well, I'm talking about like in social constructs, for example. Do you think
No,
that affects people's
people
perception?
attribute value to it,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
it's the most made up thing. Like even animals, there's no alpha wolf, or that's also made up. Like there's even animal structures don't have that.
Mm.
Nah, but there is like
There's a structure
the
though. There's a structure.
leader. I mean, there is a
leader,
leader
but it's
between like
not
wolves and lions and stuff, you know.
for lions. The females are.
Yeah, the lions actually. The
Yeah,
dude
so-
just fucking. We're lazy. The dudes are lazy, fam.
Yeah,
Yeah, all they do is roar in the morning and
the whole
fuck.
goal is to provide a children. You know,
Yeah.
the children for the female.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think because a lot of this sort of construct of alphas, betas, and all that has people doing like seeing each other, seeing themselves as superior or inferior.
Yeah.
I think women see guys
And it's
as.
hilarious.
I think women have this sort of like an sort of sense of like, oh, I want to go out with an alpha. That's why like people are 6 foot tall, fucking ripped as shreds, and or like hella smart.
Big.
And yeah, exactly. That's why and also it affects between so the societies as well, because and sort of Asia, they value intelligence. I think in West or South it's more like sort of like who's the beefiest. I think it depends on what tribe.
Yeah.
But ultimately, there is a perception of what is an alpha to each culture.
They flex with the university degrees. That's hilarious.
Oh,
Bro.
fam, yo. And there's a
Oh,
reason. There's a reason why their markets, their financial markets are the biggest in Asia, because the motherfuckers are hella smart, man. But I think the social construct is very toxic. I think it's very.
But I mean, people like to categorize. They like to put themselves into like
a
little
box.
boxes.
In
and
Yeah,
call
box,
them-
yeah.
Yeah,
And that's dangerous.
It's kind of
It's-
funny though.
it's the topic that we brushed it like last time. Like people
Yeah.
like to categorize stuff so they can like have their own identity and stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned it last time, and it applies to
It's the
every.
same thing, yeah.
year.
It's the same exact thing, man.
Yeah.
They like to call themselves alpha so they can feel better, Like, yo,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know which part of group I am? I'm in the alpha group. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm
don't
an
mess
alpha.
with us,
I get all the bitches. I'm an alpha.
Exactly. Yeah.
Apes together, strong. But yeah, no, it's a lot of it's weird because like a lot of people have this sort of they want to be free, but yet they put themselves in boxes. I kind of find it
Yeah.
ironic.
Yeah, we limit our own freedom.
Yeah, they kind of find it
Yeah.
ironic though. It's like, oh, you only saying that because you ain't one. You're just jealous. Okay, I'm jealous.
Aight.
Ultimately,
Aight.
most restraints we have in life are mental blocks.
Yeah, I think so. I think it also inhibits most people to sort of exceed what their potential actually is. Like, they sort of. That's why like a lot of people who are in fitness sort of have this. Whenever they go through something harsh, it's like, oh, I can't do this, and then ultimately when you break through that wall, it's like, oh shit, hey, I can. And then the same thing in life, but life is a lot more abstract because there aren't really the sort of like clear checkpoints. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a very weird concept or very weird mentality that we have of sort of like limiting ourselves. Same thing with political parties and like ideologies and like I'm a believer of this. If you're not, you're against me. It's like, whoa, calm down now. What's going on here?
Mhm.
Which
Like it happens like people don't have like any middle ground. There's no
Mm.
middle ground in anything. It's either the extreme side.
Do you think? Speaking of, do you think in marriage? Well, do you think first of all is marriage worth it right now or not? Do you think? Seeing as the divorce rate just fucking bloomed up in the air like a fucking stock market. Especially for you, Misara, because you're Muslim, so you gotta more marriage is more sort of a potent idea.
Listen, like it depends on the culture. Like that's like number one, I believe, because culture. It depends on how the culture perceives marriage and how it puts it as like the level of importance in its culture. Like if like a community, let's just say like you just mentioned, like my religion, like Muslim and stuff, they hold marriage very high because it there's a lot of significance to it. But if you take like any Western culture and stuff, like people would have like kids, like they'd have like 2-3 kids, and they wouldn't be married. Like it's not really that important. It's not as significant as other cultures perceive marriage, and that's how I believe like people perceive it and stuff, and put it as important or not.
Do you think well, personally, you guys, what do you think about it? Do you think it's like a priority for you, or like
for me, hell no.
No.
Because the thing is, like, I feel like marriage is an anchor on your ankle. It
Mm.
feels like it's sort of like it doesn't matter how you could convince yourself. Oh no, like I could still be free and be married at the same time. Like
You can't. Yeah, you can't
define
dip out of the
freedom.
relationship.
It's
Exactly.
like
Like yeah,
a way to
exactly.
twist your
Define
arm
Yeah.
freedom.
into saying
Yeah.
that you're like okay with your relationship.
Yeah.
So it's kind of forcing you in a corner.
It's kind of like
Exactly.
yeah. You value the perception of other people's ideas of your relationship than your own. Like if you, I
Yeah,
think that's why I think like if you're in love with the person, doesn't matter what you guys are,
agreed.
because you guys love each other. Like it's the bond that matters. It's not
Yeah,
the title of the relationship. Oh, you
But
guys are just boyfriend girlfriend.
I feel like there's like so much in the world to see
Yeah.
before you settle down. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I feel like as a person, if you just stay in the confinement of your own country and you don't explore the world, and all you're thinking about is like how you could like lock yourself in
Yeah.
into an even bigger box,
Yeah.
your life isn't that thrilling,
Yeah.
which is a problem because it's gonna like manifest itself later on because at some point in your life you're gonna be like, oh my god, I've done nothing.
Yeah.
Like
and
you're gonna look at other people and be like, oh yo, this guy went to Mexico, this guy went to Paris, this guy went to London. Like this dude went all over the place, and after that settled down. But if you're gonna settle down before you even go to Japan, bro, come on. Like, bro, what the fuck? Like, yo, you get to see all those like anime chicks, bro, walking around in a city, bro. You gotta see that shit before you settle down, bro.
Yeah, we're saying Phil.
uh, I was just gonna say that well, marriage is to each their own, right? But ultimately, often it's forced upon you by like the previous generation, or it's
Mm.
you're it often people get married to please someone else in their life
Hmm.
outside of the couple even,
Yeah.
you know, like often it's for the social image, or it's for the
Like arranged marriages also. That's the whole point. It's to create
Yeah,
yeah,
alliances and whatnot. And
yeah, so there is
culture, see.
this tainted part of marriage itself where it almost taints the essence of love,
mm,
which is kind of twisted. So, but personally, I do have maybe the aspiration to
get married.
get married maybe one day, but it's not like in my immediate sights.
Mm.
Like I'm not
It's not imminent.
yeah, I don't want to put that pressure on myself because I want to actually make a decision. I want to actually have the agency
Mm.
to choose and show and have true love.
Mm.
You
Do
know,
you what do you think the perfect age for to get married is for you guys personally?
I'd say 28.
Yeah,
30,
that's pretty young.
30.
Yo, 67 motherfuckers.
I'd
That's
say
fair.
28 is
That's fair.
To be honest,
28 is not far, bro, and it's not too early either.
no, I'm saying, but I think like what were you saying? Because you know you're still young at 28. I think like late in your 40s or 50s you could get married and it's not gonna change anything.
Agreed.
Seriously, 40s?
Yeah.
Come on, bro. You're
I
gonna
agree.
you gotta get married in your 40s when you and your kids are gonna be so young and you're gonna go so old, bro.
But once again, you're
Yeah.
thinking about the kids coming as after marriage. Maybe he has kids before marriage.
But it's the thing that yeah, because like well,
Okay. So I think
yeah. Obviously for you guys, you have to get married to get to.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like
I wouldn't have kids before I get married.
well yeah, I'm saying
That's
because
the
it's
thing.
culture. Yeah, it's
And it's not just that, bro. Like, cause here's the thing. Like, kids unite parents.
yeah.
There's no escaping that. Like, you are the byproduct of love. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Or
not.
hate.
I mean, no, no. It takes love to create like another human. You know, there's
I
no,
mean, there's a lot of people who have like have very forced.
and they hate each other. But here's the
But I
thing.
think
No,
that's also due to
In
marriage.
that, but in that
there
hate,
is
they
love.
invite each.
I guess
Exactly, they invite each
I
other.
agree that they both love the kid. So yeah, they're both byproducts of love in terms of they both love the kid.
But
Often,
I would not form a unification before that happens. A
You would
unification,
first.
yeah, exactly. Like I wouldn't like seal the deal even more with a person
Hmm.
before the first step, which is actually saying to the person, "I want to spend the rest of my life with you." Like I wouldn't have children with someone that I wouldn't think I wouldn't like
Want to
spend my
marry?
the rest of my life
Yeah,
with.
makes
You know,
sense.
it doesn't make sense because if you don't like seal the first engagement, which is you spending the rest of your life with that person,
Yeah.
why would you have the next step, which is children?
Well, that's the thing though. Why does marriage have to be the seal?
Right,
It can
right.
just be like, yo, we together. Let's make a pact. You pinky promise
Yeah,
this bitch. Yo, if
yeah,
you break
I
this pinky
mean,
promise, I'm a call snitch doctor.
because it's sort of like the instructions, like the first like general steps
Well,
in
yeah,
into life. You know, it's not like I know there's difference in people. You know, like some people have kids before they're married. It's true. Like I
yeah.
see we see it all the
A
time.
lot of kids that
But
are,
like
was it the born out of wedlock is what you call that?
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes, the
so
term.
but I feel like it shows the person that you're serious. That's all I'm saying.
Mm. Do you think it's a necessity to have both parents to raise a kid sort of
Yes,
properly?
120%. Yes.
Properly, that
Okay,
depends
yeah,
what
that's subjective.
properly,
Yeah, obviously that's subjective. I'm
what
saying
that
like
means. But
in terms of like to not be a fucking asshole.
you don't know different people, but ideally, two
Yes.
parents, yes.
Yeah. I think ideally would be that'd be the best word to describe
Yeah,
it.
but if you want your kid to be as healthy psychologically as possible, it's better to have both parents
Yeah,
involved in
yeah,
their
yeah.
life for sure. There's no debate on that. It's just that whether or not that kid is going to grow up to be a responsible member of society, it
It's
depends on the kid at
it's a
the end of
gamble,
the day.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I know people, like you can hear like celebrities who only grew up with single moms, single dads, and they're like very successful. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't really, it's not the only factor
Mm.
in that.
I don't know. I'm a bastard, so I can speak for the other side. Bitch, we out here, cuz. I'm the real deal. I guess I'm the exception.
But don't like the thing is like people shouldn't let factors that are in their lives without their own choice, like things that you can't control in your life, shouldn't
Yeah,
like
affects you.
limit
Yeah, yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
If the limits in your life that you can't control and you can't change, you shouldn't like blame yourself for those restrictions. You
Right.
shouldn't like let them limit your capabilities at the end of the day. It's
Yeah,
not your
you
fault.
should see it more as an
It,
obstacle to overcome. Yeah.
exactly. You have to like say like it is what it is, and
It
keep at
is
it,
Yeah.
what
man.
it is.
It is what it is, and you keep at it. That's it. That's how I
Yeah,
roll.
I think the for having two parents being ideal is more sort of like so that the kid could have perceptions of both men and women, and so to see well ultimately to have insight on both sides. That's for my opinion. Granted, now there are fucking two same gender or same sex parents, so
So I think that that's a bit of an outdated
yeah,
model. That seeing it's just male and women,
I'm saying yeah, but like
uh, but
for
it gives you insight on more types of people, I guess. If
yeah, well
parents
yeah, it sort of gives you a sort of a more I guess unbiased view of the world, I guess. Because ultimately when you're raised by a single person, you're sort of like you have their
are right,
ideologies and like what they think is what the only thing that you know.
you'll be molded after them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
unless of course you're exposed to other people, and so that will sort of that was my upbringing. That's why I didn't like staying in my own box of like my own race and stuff. I like to explore different religions, different cultures, different perceptions of life.
well, it's often
There's
said
there's
that,
more colors in the world, right? Yeah.
yeah, and we're basically constructed of everyone we've ever met. Like that's who we are. We're everyone that we have ever interacted with. So of course, like it goes back to the thing we said, but I'm assuming that two parents is a superior model, no matter what the two parents are, than one parent.
Mm.
Just like generally,
Generally, yeah.
Yeah,
because
generally speaking,
you
right?
have more influences, so you're a more multifaceted person, probably.
Hmm.
This could be a controversial topic, but what do you think about sort of enforcing Well, it's not really controversial because I'm Asian, right? So you have, or I guess immigrants in general. Because I was checking this dating professor that was talking about how Western societies and Eastern societies have very different ways of raising their kids, right? So like,
Mhm.
say in Asia, for example, they don't sort of big up their kids, and quite the opposite, they put them down. Sort of like, even if you have like Chinese people, you will never hear them say, "Yo, I have a 4.0 GPA." It's like, yeah, it's 4.0. It's not enough. My mom was my parents got pissed off at me because I have a 4.0. You know what I'm saying? So like, what do you ultimately what do you think about um the idea of their parents sort of bringing down expectations, their own personal expectations towards their kids? So like,
It's very
I guess
dangerous.
Yeah,
living their dream through their kids. That's what I'm saying.
that's
It's
one of the
very
most
dangerous.
toxic things you can have in
Yeah.
your life.
Yeah, I think, yeah,
Yeah,
makes sense. Because I know, because a lot of like immigrants, I think they have this sort of like, oh, you have to be a nurse, to be an engineer, you have to be this, to be that. Whereas like, I
Yeah.
know a lot of like, not to generalize things, but a lot of like Western people have this sort of their parents, like, you have an A on one test, and the parents like, oh, good job. Whereas me, for example, I get an A, it's like, oh, why didn't you have A plus? It's like why didn't you have this? It's always like trying to up your last score. It's like they're never grateful enough, so it sort of diminishes
it
your,
doesn't motivate and it doesn't
yeah,
diminishes your accomplishments as a
yeah,
But
person.
here's the thing. It's a mistake that is passed down through generations. I
Yeah,
really believe that. I really believe that it's a very big mistake in their upbringing. It's
yeah,
not necessarily their fault. I don't blame,
mm,
like,
parents, yeah,
because I've been brought up this way exactly. Like Daryl's like very right. Like especially like different cultures, like they're very like severe and strict. So I don't blame the previous generations because that's how they're brought up and that's how they grew up.
right.
So you have to like look at it in a way like, I really feel like they're trying to do this for the best of my interests,
mm,
and they're trying to do this for the better of my future, and they're
mm,
trying to like look out for me in a way. It's like the way that they show love is to
yeah.
push me and
So
to
they care about,
Yeah,
exactly. It's their way. It's not really negative. Like if your parents like really care about you, they'll do that. Like they won't like let you just do whatever you want. Because
yeah,
like
fuck around,
if
yeah,
you do whatever you want, since if you're like from a young age, you're not gonna grow up to be a responsible person.
yeah. What you feel, since,
That's
well,
how I
you
feel.
especially feel, because your parents are, one's a teacher at a university, and the other one's a fucking cancer research committee
right.
member. So what do you think about sort of having both great expectations sort of enforced upon
Yeah,
you?
I definitely have that. But yeah, it's how to manage that weight,
Yeah,
like the expectations being put on you, and how to gauge that, like how to realize how much of this has become who I am.
mm,
How much of you is shaped by trying to live up to expectations, and how much of it is genuinely what you want to be doing, right?
yeah,
Um, and like, for example, my parents both being in these big science fields, I certainly have a love of science, yet I feel like I have to do something different. I
yeah,
can't, like, I have to strike out and forge my own path
yeah,
somewhere, maybe in the middle, maybe somewhere completely different,
mm,
because I don't want to just try and replicate their success.
yeah.
You know?
Forge your own identity.
I think a lot of
Yeah.
very successful, like, say, like, people who have successful parents, their kids have ultimately the same dreams, but like, because their parents are that big, they ultimately just live in their shadow.
Right.
Like a lot of actors, for example, have this sort of, they because their parents are so big and so, like, has such a
Famous.
big
Yeah.
name, uh their son or their daughters are sort of like in like the shadows, and like, oh, yeah, yeah, we know
Right.
them because they're related to this person.
Right.
And so I feel like that's also very sort of, you know um it sucks for the person being the shadow.
It's definitely like it
Yeah.
feels like no matter what I would achieve,
Yeah.
it would still have to be compared to their
Yeah,
achievement
exactly.
always.
Like
And
people gonna look at you and be like, you got big shoes to fill, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's why I think for me, like when I get a kid, I would want him or her to sort of, I would want to give that person, my kid, the option to venture out and explore what they
right.
want to do, and not limit them to just one aspect of life that like I know that they could exceed in. Like say if someone is very talented like sports, but then you don't
Yeah,
feel the love of sports, they want to do I don't know acting or they want to be an engineer or whatever. Like a lot of people have this sort of like oh you should do this because it's good for your career, it's good for your
yeah. You
future.
should do what you're good at, and
Yeah,
that's it. Or
and that's I
And
think
I
that's a
and
lot
I
of
wanted to
stress.
like say something about that. Like
Mm,
it's very true. Like and it's something that it's one of my regrets. I
mm,
feel it's that when I was in high school, I realized that I had like a very like a good a good talent for ice hockey,
yeah,
and that I was like very good at it because like I was goaltending and I was
yeah,
sharpening my skills, my reflexes, and I was playing like every week. Um, and I was getting really good, and I wanted to play for like the school's team, you know.
mm.
But I brought it up to my parents and stuff, and I was a minor and I couldn't make decisions by myself.
And they didn't want to.
Yeah, and they didn't really fathom the idea of me playing hockey like
mm,
professionally and stuff. And they didn't really invest in
Mm,
that sort of aspect of my life, and I regret that. Like my hockey sticks right here, bro.
yeah,
Like,
I know.
yeah, I see it.
like you know, like I love the sport. It's just and I didn't get the investment or the help that I actually needed before, so I
Mm,
can thrive in it. Because if it were the case, I think that I could have been like a very good player.
I think also it's a matter of perception because say you in your parents' shoes and you see like realistically being a hockey
Yeah,
player is extremely to be a successful hockey player is extremely tedious and very very like hardworking, and
yeah,
so they could be like oh I don't want to see my son go through this or I don't think my son or daughter would want to be going through this hardship to be I don't know successful or even like I know a lot of YouTubers parents they're like oh this is not gonna go anywhere, and then you know flash forward to 10 years later they're like millionaires.
well, that's similar to how I was being told often as a kid that I could be a lawyer, uh,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
yeah, I guess I had the character for it,
yeah.
which fair. But my uncle, who passed away a year ago now, he was a lawyer, and he's the one who told me at some point, kid, don't be a lawyer.
Yeah,
It's soul crushing, and
yeah,
so I will not be a lawyer.
yeah. I know.
What? Why is it soul crushing? Why is it soul crushing?
It's tons of paperwork, and it's sometimes you have to play for the bad team, and you have to do a lot of uh, things that you don't think are supposed to be part of your job, and it ends up
Yeah.
being like most of your job.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Like especially
if you're
especially
representing the wrong.
did
Yeah,
did he work in the justice department?
Yeah,
Like I know a bunch of lawyers that hate their jobs because they
yeah,
work in the justice department sort of like side. Because
yeah,
if you're not like a private lawyer that deals with private cases, it's not gonna. Oh yeah, because the private cases are much more interesting, and it's about like real life issues
yeah,
that you're solving. Unlike if you work for the criminal justice system, you're like sometimes you're representing like
yeah.
serial
Killer.
killers,
Yeah,
like
serial killers.
criminals and
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah, I definitely like see the point of soul crushing in that part.
yeah,
Yeah, it depends which field you end up to as well.
yeah.
yeah. I think yeah.
But
Agreed.
yeah, I can understand the idea that sometimes something you're being geared towards isn't for you,
Hmm.
and
I see a bunch of like courtroom like pictures. Like you see like the lawyer that's like representing like the killer or something. Like he's just
Yeah,
like
it's like, oh
he
shit.
wants to shoot himself. Like he's sitting like next to the guy like who killed like 20 people. He's like,
You know, it's very dangerous
oh
because
my god.
a lot of lawyers that represent like serial killers have, or like mobs, for example, they often, if you don't
Yeah,
comply,
Or
they'll
they
get
get
killed.
stabbed, they get killed, run
Yeah,
inside the room, bro.
it's
It's
very, yeah, it's
crazy.
a very scary sort of
it is
job to do.
risky. Yeah.
I
Speaking
mean,
of,
unlike you like the thrill, man.
oh yeah, you know, you're adrenaline junkie.
Yeah, better if that's the case, better call Daryl, you know, or better call Saul. Yeah,
Yeah.
better call Daryl.
Oh man. All right. All right, to end this off because we're hitting the hour plus mark.
Yeah.
Uh, how was 2020 for you? Since you know we're about to end it,
End of the year. Yeah.
how was 2020 for you?
One of the worst years.
Okay, yeah, that's very popular opinion. That's a very
Yeah.
popular opinion.
We
Um.
lost so many people in lockdowns, man.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say about that.
Um. I definitely have condolences for the people whose lives and their careers are affected by it.
Hmm.
Though on a personal level, it's been pretty good for me. Like I've been fortunate, and I definitely appreciate what I have. And yeah, for me, it's been pretty good because I've been able to focus inward,
Yeah,
and that's
totally.
something I like to do.
Yeah.
It's healthy, I guess, and uh, I can like center myself on like my tasks at hand,
Yeah. So,
and
yeah, you have yeah, it's tunnel vision basically. You don't have no distractions from the outside world and friends meeting up and all that stuff. So it's
I mean, I definitely feel like there's like some positivity and all that for sure. Like I never neglected the positive side of
yeah.
what happened this
Hey,
year.
why
You
you
know,
so
like
negative, fam? What's going on,
I
man?
never I wanted to like retract that and I wanted to like say something positive about this. All right, like, give me a chance. So I wanted
retract
to
the
say
statement.
like yeah, like
I retract
I
my
ret-
statement. I
I
regret
would
what I've
like to
said.
retract my comments. So I'm like this year helped me like really focus like a lot about like me and my inner self,
Yeah,
seeing like where my inner balance is and if I'm balanced out, if there's something wrong. Of course, like I benefited from that, and I got to save up, and I got to buy my first car this year. And there's
Mm.
a bunch of stuff that happened this year that I feel blessed, and I feel like I did some like accomplishments that
Yeah.
are worth mentioning this year. But there's a bunch of up and downs, but the Phil is right. Phil is always there to remind me how to be optimistic all the time. Yeah. You gotta look at it in the best way possible, man.
yeah,
Shout out to you, bro.
I think for me
Yeah,
it hasn't changed anything at all. Like my lifestyle has not changed at all.
come on, Daryl. You
Wallah, I
can't say
swear, I
that.
swear,
Come on. You can't
wallah,
say
I
there's
swear.
nothing changed.
Yo, I swear. Anyways, what I do is I just hang out at home and go to work. Right, I go to besides school, like nothing really has changed. Because ultimately, this summer I still went outside and fucking worked out, which I would normally do anyways. And in the wintertime, I got to focus with I had school and work, so I couldn't really hang out with anyone.
But
And
really, it's not all your fault, man. Like you gotta consider that there's a bunch of like restrictions that we have to endure,
the
and
only
that
thing
and it kind of sabotaged like a lot of plans that we had
the
going
only
on.
thing that sucks about it is the fact that I had a lot of projects planned this year.
right.
Yeah,
A lot of
Dude,
film
yeah.
projects, a lot of like traveling projects I had planned this year, and it all fell through. Well, we did one, but that was clutch, bro. That was fucking clutch. It was a 3 day shoot. Fucking that was next level shit, bro. Matrix that motherfucker. But
but
anyways,
hey, man, like the Japan trip is still on the table for me, man. Like it's something that I really want to do.
we'll
Like
see. We'll see. We'll
I don't
see
know
what
about you guys, but like I highly recommend you guys consider it as well because there's a place to go, man.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Obviously, it's when we're all chilling, then yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
But the only thing that like that it helped me sort of focus more on different aspects of life. Now I'm doing stock market shit. I'm focusing on
Yo,
creation as well.
I'm following a course about that stock, like investing in the stock market and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm reading a course, it's like an 11-hour course, like a crash course about like learning all about like investing in the stocks and stuff.
yeah,
I'm like learning like dividends and shit like that.
yeah. I've been doing that for a while now, and I'm also like I've been slowly getting was it equipment for next year's projects and stuff, and I've also
Yeah.
planned out, lay out the next years to come. I'm basically being a
Mhm.
fucking CEO in my out here. But yeah, ultimately, I'm sort of also trying to um, think about sort of career goals and how to accomplish it. Because like over the years, like last year, I realized what I wanted to do. Now this year is sort of like more focused on how to get to it
Right.
and amassing the funds and all that stuff, and also, you know,
Yeah.
also getting having fun with what I have. So it's like, uh, yeah, this year for me it didn't really change much. I'd say it 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 hindered and it helped. So like that's why for me it's like a compromise. It's a balance,
'Cause
as all things
I feel
should
like
be.
2021. I feel like 2021 is gonna be like the stepping stone for a lot of people that wanted to accomplish a lot of
Yeah,
stuff.
there's a lot of things. That 2021 it could be the worst year. Could be the
There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on.
yo, why are you putting pressure on a 2021, bro? He's just getting
I'm
going.
very optimistic. I feel very good about 2021, man. If things like clear up, like lockdown wise,
Yeah,
I feel like 2021 is gonna be a very good year for us because what we've been going downhill for like what months now,
yeah.
and the only direction after that is up,
Back
up.
down. Let's get it. Let's go all the way down,
You-
motherfucker.
like
How low can you go? How
I'm
low
trying to
can you go?
I'm trying to go up to the surface and this guy's diving deeper.
Hey, yo, we're halfway down. Might as well go the entire way.
No, we're not halfway down. We're already in the lowest, dude. God.
But I think it was the first thing you guys are gonna do once you're free. Like, well, biggest project you guys are gonna do. Obviously, you might go out with your
Camping.
friends. I want to go
Camping
to
is
I want to go to Momigalsik and see the
Mm,
stars.
yeah.
dude,
Try like a
camping
road trip.
is one of like we could like start like a campfire style like trip. Oh my god, this is so
Yo,
fun.
I
Bro.
did that with,
So fun.
I did that with a mutual friend, and camping just fucking went to shit for me, mate.
Really?
My camping experience was just so fucking horseshit, man. It was raining, bunch of mosquitoes. I was like, nah, I'm right about this bullshit.
Right. I mean, because you didn't pick the better location. You got to pick a good location to
Yeah.
camp,
We
and
went
there's a bunch of them.
we went to the U.S. Maine, I think, or was it
Mm,
Plattsburgh, whatever the fuck. But yeah, we went.
Oh, bro, you went to the U.S., bro. That's why you got so many mosquitoes, man. You gotta camp in Canada, bro. Go up
I
north
was
in
thinking,
Quebec,
yeah,
bro.
going
right.
north, yeah, north of Quebec, yeah.
North in Quebec is where it's at, bro. There's not much bugs, and when you go like right before like summer starts,
Yeah.
like spring, oh
Yeah.
man,
Yeah, you're gonna
best
see like,
times, bro.
hey, let's go stop by Lala.
Hey, fais là, toi, là, tu sais les étoiles la nuit.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing all the way up here?
Oh shit! If I hear that shit, I'm running,
Oh,
bro.
fuck. Yeah, a bunch of rednecks up in the north. Yeah, qu'est-ce que tu fais là, câlisse?
Dude, I'm
I
telling you, bro,
spoil.
nothing is better than having a bunch of like good friends around a campfire, toasting marshmallows. We're like talking about like random shit, getting buzzed out of our minds, and then going to sleep after. That's the
We
best
we
fucking thing
usually
in
do
the
that
world.
during Christmas. It was supposed to be
Right.
like we all go to Phil's house because his house
Right.
is pretty big, and we get fucking retardedly drunk and like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
Well,
good.
You guys do that?
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
drink though.
Yeah.
I don't drink though, so it's fun for me. So, I
You
think it's
just
funny because
watch.
I don't. Yeah, I just watch. It's just like, oh look, look at these guys. They're just getting drunk. All the girls are hella fucking loud and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. They get really loud.
You drink Miss Sour?
On parties or like special occasions.
It's pas haram, bro.
Um,
Same.
huh?
On
It's pas
occasion.
Hey
haram, bro.
man, hey, I love. I don't judge.
It's funny because
Everything I
I don't
do,
drink. It's funny because I don't drink.
I don't do it all the time either. It's just like very rarely on like
Yeah.
parties or like special occasions. And
Yeah.
you know, when's the last time we had a good party, right? Like
Yeah. No,
since like
the only thing
months.
like ever since my 18th birthday, I went to fucking shit. Like it's funny because I drank a lot before I got legal, and then when I was oh shit, I incriminated myself. But anyways, when I got when I was legal, I was like, nah, I know about this bullshit.
But only on special occasions, though. Not all the time, you know. Just,
The last time I
Right.
just
drank
like
was
on like little events, like you have a little party, whatever. You know?
the last time I
Doesn't-
drank was I was 20. Yeah, it was your Christmas party
Shit.
when I was 20.
Yeah.
So it's 2 years ago.
Yeah. That is 2 years ago. Wow.
Fucking shit, I've been drinking. Haven't
Yeah,
drank
that's
in 2
about the
years.
last time for me as well. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. You
It's
guys,
been
do
a
you guys
while.
like alcohol?
Hmm?
Do you guys like alcohol?
I don't like it per se. I just I just like do it because it's like the social thing.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
You know, people
It,
judge your ass because you don't drink.
I
you
don't hate
bitch.
it. I don't
Yo,
hate it.
yo, call me at rehab, motherfucker.
Hey man, if anybody says they love tuba, yeah.
It's funny because I have a bottle of bourbon right next on my nightstand, but I don't drink it, so it's fucking hilarious. Like, I look like an alcoholic, but I don't drink at
it
all.
tempts you.
Yeah, it's like, oh, a reminder, one day.
It's to show your strength. You have it, so it could stare you in the eye, and you still don't take it.
My,
You
my
know,
willpower is like, I
show
win.
strength every day.
Yeah, that's why I always feel like a winner.
Great.
It's easy for you. You don't even do it anyway. You're tapping yourself on the back for something so easy to do.
Hey, yo, a lot of people in my family are alcoholics, so it's a massive accomplishment. There's a lot of people. That's
Yeah.
actually one of the reasons why I stopped. I didn't drink, because a lot of people in my family died from diabetes and like liver failure and all that shit. So I was like, yo, bro. And then, like, it ruins your life. It makes you do dumb decisions, and like I was like, nah.
But that's only if you like do it in excess. There's a balance to it, man. Like if you
Moderation.
have balance in your life, then
But
you
if you
don't
have
have
an
to worry about
addictive
anything.
personality, though, if you have an addictive personality, you
Yeah.
can't find it. That's the reason you
Yeah.
can't find that balance. This thing. So might as well be safe and not start it at all, and then before, like,
very true.
regretting it halfway, you end up in fucking rehab with like 2 teeth
Yeah.
you're missing and shit. It's all fucked up.
I mean, if you do, because the thing is, it's all about like self love. If you love yourself, you're not gonna put yourself in that situation. Like love yourself enough to not become someone that you don't want to. You know, it's easy. It's easy thinking about that than anything else.
Love yourself.
Exactly.
So what are you saying, Phil? You want to say something? You wanted to say something?
No. Well, I was just mentioning that it's interesting that we don't have the same views on moderation as well. Most people.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Especially now, like I guess us Gen Zers are very, I don't know, different.
Excessive.
We're extremists. We don't. We
Yeah.
either do something or we don't either do something to the fullest or we don't do it at all.
Because if we don't do it to the fullest, then what's the point?
Yeah, what's the
That's,
point? Yeah.
that's the motto of the
Unbelievable.
generation.
Unfucking
If we're doing something, we're doing it to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can't beat them, join them. Just fucking do it.
So how about we close off on that note?
Yeah, let's end it off. All right.
Yeah.
Report Jason.
Well, no, Jason's doing the thumbnail,
Oh,
so he's still doing stuff. So it's, and also
for Jason who has to edit though.
Oh man, yo, you guys have to pose for the thumbnail. Come on.
I'm gonna tell him in the end. But yo, screenshot this bitch. But yeah. So as always, we're gonna post every single Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
It's cool. Next Wednesday. What is next Wednesday? It's New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
Is
it is.
30th. Okay. So
Yeah.
So ultimately, Merry Christmas to all
Yeah,
of you.
Merry Christmas to everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Take care of yourselves. Take care of your loved ones.
Yeah. Have a healthy Christmas.
You guys have a great time. You guys have a magical time. You guys have a amazing experience.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's starting to feel like Christmas.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Christmas at all, bro. I mean, it starts snowing for a bit, so it's
melting right now.
But yeah, so we're gonna post again next Wednesday. This topic has been "What is love?" If you have any insights, comment.
Yeah,
below.
please comment if you do. Yeah.
Share to your friends.
If any of our lady viewers would like to have a good time, they know where to find us. That's what's up.
You want to plug your Snapchat?
Yeah, I'm gonna leave my Snap code in the.
You want to plug your OnlyFans?
Everything is gonna be links. All the links to social media is gonna be down below. So if you guys want to add fucking other social media.
If you want to add us, yeah.
Exactly. All the ladies.
OnlyFans, Bumble.
OnlyFans.
All that shit. So so
if the ladies want to see me swinging, just hit me up.
Swinging, motherfucker says swinging, bro. I'm gonna drop your ass, bro. All right. Anyways, I am Daryl.
I'm Phil.
I'm Miss Sarah.
And this has been the Speakeasy podcast. Woo! Peace till next time.
Take it
Yeah.
easy.